As Becca said in the beginning, we have an illustrator, B, who's been scribing everything we discussed today. Here's the almost finalized result, and let's recap what we did in the last couple of hours before we take a break and come back to the deep dive sessions. So, what have we done so far? I'm going to look at this with you because I haven't seen it before either. So, where have I got it? Let's see. Show me the money. Where is it, guys? I need to figure it out as well. Here we go. Okay, so we started with the initial session, which was all about how to talk about Israel on social media. And what we understand is that if you are, I asked Jose, if you are consulting the people of Israel, what would you advise them? And of course, he said, do not engage, okay? And that's a really important message for you today because it's all about not fueling the fire online. What we do talk about is sharing what is happening, but without comment, and that's okay. Engage people in a private conversation. Pull them into a conversation online, DM them, and also, we talked about, with Ariel Halevi, we talked about how people need to like you before they even start listening to you. It sounds really basic, but in fact, it's so important. He mentioned the persuasion equation, which is all about that, and that you're not there to win a debate, or you're not there to make sure that they, you call them out or something like that. You're actually there to try and prove them right, and once you go along with their thinking, then you start actually exposing the lack of logic in their own thinking. People always make decisions much better when they come to their own conclusions rather than you tell them that they're wrong. So what else do we have here? We also have, we shifted into the actual entire event, and we started with sharing Israel's story with the world. So we discussed tribe marketing. Lipaz invited Dr. Hila Owen, and we talked about how tribe marketing is all about people who need a common goal and a way, a place, a context to communicate. Social media is great for that. We talked about different trends belong to different areas, so find out what's going on in your area and what would be suitable for the people, the next generation in your community. We talked about, for example, adapting the message to suit each group. Oftentimes, I see a lot of Jewish organizations outside of Israel, their go-to space is, let's talk about Startup Nation, let's talk about Israeli food, let's make shakshuka, all these different things. No, try and see what's going on in your area. For example, if you've got, if you're in wintry weather and you don't actually have beaches and fun and stuff like that, you could find something that Israel's good at in colder weather and things like that. So I'm going to go back to the screen again and let's see what else we have here. Definitely share your passion. That's what we're all about. Ask, don't assume. These are things that Lipaz gave us tips towards the end of her session. Ask, don't assume, do polls, surveys, invite people and just simply ask them. It's really that simple. We suggested to research trends online using different online platforms and services that you can get completely for free to understand whether you are offering content that is relevant for the people who are following you. And we suggested don't reinvent the wheel. The biggest form of flattery is actually copying someone. It's okay if somebody else did a great job with something, like Lipaz gave the examples of Birthright and JNF, do the same if it's relevant for your audience. Then we moved on to inspiring new ways to talk about Israel. And we showed you the Khamsa exhibition, and we talked about how you can use that as a curriculum that we developed together with the ICE Center. Thank you again to the ICE Center for actually developing that with us. It's a great project. It's with the President of Israel. It's really amazing. Take a look at the resources that the ICE Center created and use it in your community, particularly to the younger generation. We also talked about Unboxing Israel, the digital toolbox that you can now use. It's completely free. It's available to you. Shout out again and thank you to the Genesis Prize Foundation for choosing us as one of the grantees in 2020 of your prize. We put those funds into creating this online toolbox. We will continue adding more and more content into it. Use it as you see fit. And there were some recommendations that Marissa gave. She talked about customizing your content, making it pop, and of course, putting Israel in the background. It doesn't sound obvious, but imagine there's a picture. The picture that you need to see is not Israel first. The picture that you need to see is, first of all, the passion point. It could be sustainability, food, business, anything like that. And the backdrop is Israel. So if you are promoting an event or you're doing something on social media, don't just make it about Israel. Make it about the topic that you're talking about. These are different things that we did until then. Then we spoke about connecting the world to Israel. Becca showed us the Vibe Live app, which we're hugely excited about. I really recommend that you go and join Tamar afterwards, although she's competing with me with my session, but it's okay. We're all very collaborative here at Vibe Israel. So we're really excited about this app. It took us a while to get it out there, but we really think that we have to get people to engage with Israel even if they can't come. And gamification is the way to go with the next generation. So B is going to continue to touch up this image, okay? And then we will share it with you afterwards.